Hi, welcome to Maths classes. Today, let's solve question number 3 in exercise 1.2, chapter Real Numbers, class 10 NCERT Maths. Prove that the following are irrationals. You should prove the following numbers are irrational numbers. 1 by root 2. We should prove 1 by root 2 as irrational number. Let's solve the problem. They asked to prove 1 by root 2 as irrational. Contrary to the question, let's assume 1 by root 2 is rational. 1 by root 2 is rational. If any number is rational, it can be expressed in the form of a by b. When do you call a number as rational number? It should be expressed in the form of a by b, where a and b are integers and b not equal to 0. Here also 1 by root 2 is rational number. So 1 by root 2 can be expressed as a by b. Let us assume that these numbers a and b are divided by a common factor, and now a and b became co-prime numbers. Or co-prime. That means suppose the numbers are 12 by 14. See, 12 and 14, both the numbers are integers. You are able to express them in the form of p by q. That means 12 by 14 is a rational number. These 12 and 14 are divided by, both are divisible by 2. So let's cancel by 2. 2 6 are 12, 2 7 are 14. Now you got 6 by 7. 6 by 7 are co-prime numbers. That means these two do not have common factor, any other common factor other than 1. They have only one common factor. 6 and 7 have only one common factor, that is 1. Such numbers are called as co-prime numbers. So, here also 1 by root 2 is expressed as a by b, where a and b are co-primes. Here 6 and 7 are co-prime numbers. Similarly, here also you are expressing 1 by root 2 as a by b, where a and b are co-primes. Now, 1 by root 2 is equal to a by b. If you take reciprocal on both sides, it will become root 2 by 1 is equal to b by a. Take inverse on both sides. 1 by root 2 will become root 2 by 1. A by b will become b by a. That means root 2 is equal to b by a. A and b are co-primes. That means b by a is also a rational number. Here you got b by a is rational. That means we got root 2 is rational. But we already know that root 2 is an irrational number. We already know that root 2 is irrational. We already know this in 9th class. Root 2, root 3, root 5, root 7, root 11. All these are irrational numbers. But we got that root 2 is rational. But root 2 is irrational number. So, this is contradictory. This is contradictory. Hence our assumption, why we got contradictory result here? You got root 2 is rational, but in reality root 2 is irrational number. Why we got this contradictory result? Because we assume that 1 by root 2 is rational number. So our initial assumption is wrong. So our assumption is wrong. What was our assumption? Our assumption was 1 by root 2 is rational. This is wrong. Hence, it is proved that 1 by root 2 is irrational. Our assumption is wrong. Hence, it is proved that 1 by 2 is irrational. Let's solve next question. Prove that 7 into root 5 is irrational number. Let's assume 7 into root 5 is rational. Let's assume 7 into root 5 is rational number. We'll assume this first and conclude that it is irrational. So, if 7 root 5 is rational, so it can be expressed as a by b, where a comma b are coprimes. Next. So, root 5 is what? A by 7b. So, a by b is rational. That means a by 7b is also a rational number. If a by 7b is rational number, you can tell that root 5 is rational number. Root 5 is rational number. We got this conclusion. Root 5 is rational number. But we already know that. Root 5 is irrational number. This is the fact. Root 2, root 3, root 5, root 7, root 11, all these are irrational numbers. So, this statement 1, which is root 5 is rational number, statement 2 are contrary. It is contradictory to our assumption. Why did we get root 5 as rational number? We assumed 7 root 5 as rational number. So, you got root 5 as rational number. But this is wrong because root 5 is irrational. So, our initial assumption is also wrong. Our initial assumption is wrong. Hence, it is proved that initial assumption root 7 into root 5 is rational is wrong. That means 7 into root 5 is irrational. Now we are able to prove that 7 into root 5 is irrational number. Let's solve next question. 6 plus root 2. We should prove 6 plus root 2 is irrational. Let's assume 6 plus root 2 is rational number. If a number is rational number, it can be expressed in the form of a by b, where a and b are integers, b not equal to 0. If a and b are divided by a common factor, they will become coprime numbers. A and b are coprimes. So, 6 plus root 2 is equal to a by b. A by b is rational. That means 6 plus root 2 is rational number. Root 2 is what? A by b minus 6. That means root 2 is equal to, if you take b as LCM, you will get a minus 6b. So, here a, b are both coprimes. So, a minus 6b by b is also rational number. This is also rational number. So, root 2 is also rational number. We got this conclusion. But we already know that. Root 2 is irrational number. So, statements 1 and 2 are contradictory. Statements 1, 2 are contradictory. Why are these contradictory? We have assumed wrong. So, 6 plus root 2 is not rational. Our assumption was wrong. So, you can tell that 6 plus root 2 is irrational number. In this way, by taking assumption 6 plus root 2 as rational number, we finally proved that it is not rational number. So, we have proved 6 plus root 2 is irrational number. Thanks for watching the video. Like, share and subscribe.